If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others.
Grab your popcorn and sit back.
Jump the gun. Oh, no, give me more than that. Okay, go this way. That was dumb. We are.
How could I tell you when nobody wants to? Your favorite words I will choke.
Happy Friday, football frenzy to everyone in the sports universe. It is October the 14th, 2022. This is the AM Drive on our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook pages. For Aaron Crouch, I am Michael Carvello saying good morning to you, sir.
And a good morning to you, sir. Sorry about yesterday's show. I thought I hit snooze, and it turned out I hit off. And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, it's 9:30 or something in the morning, and no show.
Yeah, 9:30 his time. I would say how dare you, but I've done it like 5 times already, so I kind of owe you 4 more.
Well, let's hope we don't do it to each other anymore.
I know, right? Hey, it's hard having a life outside of the show, right? Or having this show outside of life, I guess.
We might have to switch to the PM drive so
Maybe.
I can sleep in a little bit.
Our sponsors shop and YouTube and socials can be found at mikeandaarondrive.com. So click this, search it, whatever you got to do. You can click on, of course, on our socials, or to find those socials, go to mikeandaarondrive.com, visit our website. And, of course, our shop tab has free shipping until tomorrow, the 15th, with code Tucker9. I actually bought myself an AM Drive phone case. I'm very happy. I'm very happy. It's an iPhone tough case, they call it. So, excited to see how it looks.
Better be tough.
Ooh-wee. Something that was tough was offense last night. Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. Jesus, mother. I think Jeff Bezos is has to be kind of angry the last 2 weeks because this is just horrible. I saw people saying they're going to cancel their subscription because these games were just awful. It's 12-7. Commanders won. And when I see Commanders won, really nobody deserved to win the game. Carson Wentz threw for 99 yards in a winning effort, which probably hasn't happened since the 60s. I don't have that right off the top, but it's got to be up there. And then, of course, Darnell Mooney, who had the ball right in his hands, but then again, like Ryan Fitzpatrick said after the game, the throw was kind of late, so he had to come back and get it. What is your take on the game? And then I want to get to the aftermath that they commented on as well. But what's your take on the Commanders winning a very ugly, close game?
Well, I mean, my first thought is thankful. And the reason I say thankful is because I didn't watch this game.
It's over.
Last night, the Golden Knights had their home opener here in Vegas, so I got to go to that. And unfortunately, there was just as much offense in that hockey game as there was in this football game. It was a 1-0 game with the goal scored in the second period. Yes, they did. They beat Chicago.
Good for you.
But let's talk about this game a little bit. And I mean, we kind of expected it. You know, we expected it more in this game than we did in the 12-9 debacle that was Thursday Night Football last week. And
Colts Broncos, yeah.
And to me, like, all these people, I'm going to cancel my subscription. Like, what are you talking about? Amazon Prime is awesome. Like, not the actual, like, these games. No, you're right. They're not. But, like, the actual streaming service is awesome. The fact that you have Amazon Prime and everything be shipped to your door within, like, 2 days or less, it's awesome. This is just kind of the cherry on top of the sundae. Like, you don't have to watch these football games. And trust me, even if I wasn't going to a hockey game, I don't think I had any interest after I watched the entire 12-9 contest last week. And I said,
Thank you for that.
There's nothing that's going to make me watch this game. And I mean, obviously, you clearly can tell I didn't miss anything. I mean,
right.
The Commanders, they had like a chance to put the game to 15-7, and then they missed a field goal, and
they decided to kick a 47-yarder, and that goes to Sammy Action's dumb play calling. Why not pin a team with no offense back at the inside the 10? Like, what are we doing here? They basically had field goal range and didn't even get a field goal after. But still, I don't understand what that reasoning was behind that.
Yeah, I mean, 47, I don't know what the percentages are. I don't have them in front of me, but 47, it's a lot different than like McManus taking a 64-yard shot or them attempting like 50 yards. I know that magical number is 50. Once it gets to 50, I think the real percentages start to drop below 50%, obviously. And I think even below like 40 to close to like 30 or less percent. 47 feels super makeable, but you're right. I mean, you're looking at a team who had very little to no offense, and to be able to pin them back would have been huge. But I mean, you got to have some excitement in these games, right? I mean, at least the fact that how bad Chicago played, again, just based on the score. I don't have a lot of content to go off of, but just based on the score, you got to think that Chicago, if they were pinned on their own 3 or 4 yard line, had zero chance to go win this game. And it kind of showed, even though they missed the field goal, they still had almost zero chance to win the game.
Justin Fields had like a 40-yard run on the last drive, which might have been the longest play of the game. I don't know. He had a sideline throw earlier that I missed, so I don't know. But they faked the play one way, and Justin Fields kind of reads the defense, and they're in man coverage. And you know how that is for a scrambling quarterback. That's like ice cream on top of cake. And so he rolls out left and splits like 7 defenders on his way to like the 10. And then they just throw the ball 3 times. And people are like, are they stupid, or are they just trying to show that Justin Fields is not their guy? Because Andrew Whitworth said this afterwards, and this is like almost a direct quote. I got it as close as I could. This isn't Justin Fields. Like, this isn't the GM and coach, and you can tell. Like, this is not their guy. They talk about adjusting to his skill to see if it fits their system, and all I've seen is they don't care that he doesn't fit. Like, they have not tried to run the ball. They've not tried the RPO. And it's like, what are they trying to prove here? Because it has not changed at all.
I mean, they definitely tried to run the ball. I mean, they I'm looking at the stat sheet here. They ran the ball 37 times. What they don't do is try to let him
roll out,
get comfortable with the offense. I feel like they've got him, like you said, they've got him in such a pocket. I mean, he actually just statistically here looks good and with 190 passing yards because of the fact that Carson Wentz only had 99. But yeah, I mean, you look at the stat sheet, Chicago looks like the far superior team, rushing for 238 yards. He throws for 190, and they still only muster 7 points and lose the game by 12. I mean, you score 7 points, you're going to lose pretty much all the games you play. But I don't know what to say. It's sad they traded up for Justin Fields and they're ready to just be done with him after 2 years. Now, I've never obviously been on Justin Fields' wagon here. I don't think he was a good quarterback, and it's obviously showing.
Right.
But I mean, this is what we do now. I mean, I guess the Rams have started a thing that first round picks, the actual pick itself is really not that meaningful anymore. And if you actually do end up using it, it's very easy in the rookie salary system to just dump these guys.
It's also frustrating when teams will draft a quarterback like in the top 10 and then the next year change their head coach. Like it's like self-destructing, and fans automatically know, well, this year's going to suck again because it's like the Brian Dable and the Giants situation. I think if I'm Daniel Jones, I'm like thanking the Lord every day that Brian Dable's made this team look good and me look good, because if not, then he's out the door before the season ends. But right now he's still got a chance.
Right, it's still early. They're 4-1.
4-1.
Things can happen very quickly, especially in that NFC East. I mean, they still got 2 good teams to contend with, not named the Commanders. But yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because it almost feels like Justin Fields was used as a pawn to try to keep Matt Nagy's job. Because I said last year that he only drafted Justin Fields in an attempt to save his job. Because once they went to Justin Fields, it was like, hey, look, this season's kind of a loss. I think I deserve to stick around and try to work with this guy. And, whether or not that's valid or true, obviously it didn't happen. But you're right. I mean, you almost setting up a quarterback for failure. I mean, we saw – now, again, it's a very different mindset between college and the pros. But we saw that Justin Fields can throw the ball. So what's the difference here? Like, I mean, you're not even letting him try.
Ryan Fitzpatrick said if he has his first 2 reads taken away, it kills him. And also, and I'll blame that on Ohio State too, because I believe he does have some arm talent like Ryan Fitzpatrick, who, by the way, was like preaching the gospel. I was like, this guy explained what I thought about him. Fields has a powerful arm. He's a dynamic athlete who ran a 4.4. Not that matters, combine is obviously different than game, but still very fast, very athletic. But they seem to want him to be a Peyton Manning where he just sits in the pocket and looks around. Like, no, that's not how you play Justin Fields. Take the random shots on play action and roll him out. Kind of like even Trubisky had more rollouts than this guy's had.
Well, and like we've said before, the smart thing for coaches to do is to adapt around the players versus making the players adapt around them. I mean, the biggest case in point is going from Joe Flacco to Lamar Jackson, what John Harbaugh did. I mean, that's the biggest one. I mean, they are literally completely contrasting styles. And you're right. This new coaching staff, or at least, the offensive coaching staff, seems like they don't want to do that. And that's usually a recipe for failure. I'm not saying you have to be, you have to love the guy you have, but you're coming into the Chicago Bears organization, and this is the guy, Justin Fields. I understand if you don't like him or you want to move on, but maybe see what you can do with his strengths instead of really, like you said, putting him into his biggest weaknesses and setting him up for failure, and then effectively punting your first season. And coaches don't get that long anymore.
And that's a great point, because fans, especially on social media, have a bigger influence nowadays. And people don't want to admit it, but fan pressure, I believe, got Mike Tomlin. And I know Mike Tomlin is a good coach. I don't know why he would do this. But to me, how about a better example? Nathaniel Hackett goes for it on 4th down, 4th and 1 with Russell Wilson because week 1 he heard about it. Like, let's be real. So you're putting yourself up to want to be they want to set your house on fire.
I can understand that. Yeah, I mean, fans do have a little bit of influence in that spot. I think Nathaniel Hackett's a completely different story, and we could talk about him another day.
That's enough time for this game. What do you think?
Yeah. Let's move on.
College foot.
Let's try to jam pack Thursday show into the next 15 minutes here.
Let's do some college football games, which actually there were some surprisingly good ones, like quite a few of them. Number 10, Penn State. Number 5, Michigan, all times Eastern, of course. One of the best matchups of the day. It's not even the best one. It's Michigan favored by 7. The total set at 51.5. Of course, Pete's Nittany Lions there. For me, I'm going to go with Michigan minus the 7. I'm trying to get to my notes here from yesterday. Here we go. Yeah, so I've got the last 4 games. Well, 4 games for Michigan have gone under plus a push. And last 2 for Penn State have gone under. So I like Michigan to cover and under 51.5.
Yeah, this is a big game in the Big Ten. I mean, it's kind of funny. I don't know if it's just me or what I see, read, and hear. But it feels like last year, Michigan was the team that was relatively flying under the radar, and Ohio State was getting all the love and praise. Doesn't this year feel a little different? It feels like the roles are reversed.
Even though Ohio State's ranked higher, you're right about that.
But yeah, I mean, of course, Ohio State's ranked higher. They're the better team. But, I mean, I feel like we just don't talk about them. And maybe they just really haven't had a significant matchup since Notre Dame in the opening week. And that might be what it is. But, yeah, this one's a tough one. I feel like Michigan probably can handle business in here. But Penn State, they're quietly just going on the road and beating up people. I mean, I know they went into Auburn.
That's a big deal for me, too.
It's a big deal. It's looking less and less of a big deal week by week, but it's still a big deal nonetheless. But you have to look at this matchup and say that, the better team on paper is Michigan. I think the better coach is Jim Harbaugh, although not by much. Right. The question you really have is you have it at 7. Some people have it at 6.5.
It moved down.
Is it? Yeah, it has moved down a little bit. The question really is how does Penn State, how do they adapt to this? They've done this before. They've gone into the big house. They've played Michigan tough, but it's right there on that line that I think really is where this game might finish. If you're looking at it, I don't see Penn State here with a win. And if they do, I feel like, Jim Harbaugh's they're gonna be back on this Jim Harbaugh thing. Can't win games. It's all the pressure's on Michigan, which makes me kind of like Penn State a little bit. But I think ultimately Michigan walks out with a win. Covering, I don't know. We'll see.
If there's any consolation for you with Penn State, I think Sean Clifford. He's not the best quarterback, but he's a veteran, and we saw it like in the first game of the season or something like that. Again, maybe it was against Purdue, where he led a drive, and I'm like, wow, Sean Clifford led a game-winning drive, and I didn't think that he was really capable of just doing that. So I think Sean Clifford's presence could be a little something here to kind of cover, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think the recency bias is leaning towards Michigan right now with them beating Indiana 31-10 and Penn State only winning 17-7 at Northwestern. But a lot of people are going to see that game or not see that game, the fact that they played in a torrential downpour.
Wow.
So that has to be taken into account. And you're right. Sean Clifford's not going to just walk in here and pee his pants. So it leads me to want to take Penn State plus the 7. Although I think Michigan is the only undefeated team after this week with these two teams.
Wow.
Just between these two.
What? Hold on now.
Well, both teams are undefeated. I don't mean in the whole college football. I just mean like between these two, they're the one that walks away undefeated.
Number 19, Kansas, and unranked Oklahoma. Now, gun to your head, if you were told before the season that these two teams, Kansas would be ranked to this point and Oklahoma would not be, I think you might want to fire that gun at me anyways. It's Oklahoma favored by 9. Totals is 62.5. I do think Dylan Gabriel's going to play because he already missed the game for the concussion, and obviously, unless your name is Tua, that usually works like a game and then you're back. Venables said he's been full go, and he would expect him to play last time I read. I believe that was yesterday morning. But Jelon Daniels, is it Jalen or Jelon?
Jalen.
I knew it. I'm white. Jalen Daniels will likely not play for Kansas. So maybe their downfall continues as you predicted. I do like the over, though, because senior backup quarterback Jason Bean threw for 4 scores and kept Kansas in the game against TCU, although I do think Oklahoma wins this game. I think over.
Oklahoma wins this game if Dylan Gabriel comes back and he's fully healthy. I watched that Red River rivalry last week, and without Dylan Gabriel, they do not have an offense. They really don't. Yeah. Bevel was bad, and they were running Wildcat, and I mean, it showed. It was 49-0. It was really bad. As far as, I mean, this number has to be built in that Dylan Gabriel is going to play.
Agreed.
And Jalen Daniels, you're right. I mean, he's allegedly out for the season, although there's conflicting reports with that now.
Whoa, I didn't even know that part. Holy cow, that's not good.
He separated his shoulder.
That's
I mean, at first it was that he was out for this. He's definitely missing 2 games, I think, is what they said. Definitively missing 2 games. I mean, do you really want to be on Oklahoma -9?
No, and that's why I said I wrote this down that it seems fishy because we already know that Daniels won't play and Gabriel might. So why wouldn't it be like 10 or 13, like 9? They're begging me to take Oklahoma, but it might be a 7-point win.
I meant it for the other way. I mean, like after the 2 games that we've just seen Oklahoma play, like, do you feel comfortable even with Dylan Gabriel being, laying 9 points with Oklahoma? I mean, I think that's the play. Yes. Unfortunately, it's either Oklahoma or nothing but 9's so tough. I mean, you could see, like, you like the over. You could see a spot where you're looking at like something like 40-30 or 42-30, something like that. I mean, it makes perfect sense. I think I'd have to be on Oklahoma in this spot or just nothing.
Not even the over, huh?
I mean, I meant from the side perspective, but yeah, you could be on the over.
Hey, you're on pick 'em wars. It's okay. You can do that. The spread is
I keep forgetting every week to do it.
Number 3, Alabama. Number 6, Tennessee. This game, of course, should be on. I love that song from CBS. SEC on CBS. Bama's favored by 7 on the road. The totals is 65.5. And based on the fact that they're favored by 7, I think they believe that what I believe that Bryce Young is going to play. Nick Saban was saying that basically it's like, well, depends on if he feels good, but he's not going to get hurt if he does play. Then play him, fool. A little ring around the rosy stuff in college kills me with that stuff. But
what is his injury?
it's so one of my buddies from the Effingham Outlaws, this is my pro team I broadcasted for, said he was in wrestling and said it was an AC joint. And he actually told me last week when he was sitting out that you can't re-injure it. And then Nick Saban says this, so I think it's like an AC joint sprain or whatever. And so somehow, like, it'll just be a pain in the butt to move. And that's why he wasn't lifting it over his head when it got hurt the first game. But it's like, it won't get worse, but it's like it's not going to get better at the same time until he rested fully.
Okay.
That's what I've been told
So it's
by
an
athletes.
injury in his arm, basically.
Right.
The question really you have to look at here is, even if he can't throw the ball that well, can his presence alone give Alabama a jump start? Because look at what they're doing with their backup quarterback. Now, no disrespect to is it Milroe? Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was Monroe or Milroe. I mean, he's actually been pretty decently stepping in the absence. I know he's got fumble issues, but
he's a good runner.
Yeah, I mean he's got 262 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks, 244 yards on the ground. So not terrible. I don't necessarily like Alabama walking into Tennessee, but I mean, Alabama's had Tennessee's number for the last 15 years, as long as Saban's been in there. This game's in my AM Drive 5, so I don't want to give too much away, but it's going to be interesting. I'm going to make this pick anyways, but obviously there's going to be a contingency plan, but the pick's going to stand either way.
I will say I have Alabama -7, and I also like the over because I like the Vols offense. I think the Vols will show that they deserve respect, but I believe Bama still wins by 10, maybe 14. But I would not be surprised if this game goes over as the better bet if you are feeling Vols. Because if you're feeling Vols to keep it close, it's got to go over, right?
It depends, because will Alabama rely on time of possession and keep away with their running game? I mean, they have great running backs and two quarterbacks that are mobile. So it'd be interesting to see it. I don't know if the over is necessarily the play here, but the good thing for Tennessee is they can lose this game because Georgia is if their goal is to get to the SEC championship game, it goes through Georgia. It doesn't go through Alabama.
Same guy who told me about the AC joint thing said that he believes Tennessee's going to get one of these 2 games. So, all right. Number 8, Oklahoma State. Number 13, TCU. Both teams are 5-0. TCU is favored by 4, which I'm actually surprised about until I did more research. The total's 68.5, by the way. Before the injury against TCU, Dylan Gabriel was 7 of 16. Before Dylan Daniels got hurt, he was 5 of 10 with a 1.5 QBR out of 100. I don't even see how that's possible. Both of those guys are pretty good. Now, the guy for Oklahoma State, who is it? It's Spencer Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's got a 1% drop-off in completion, was pretty consistent through the first 3 years. Now it's got a slight drop-off, albeit. He's thrown 33 picks, including 12 picks last year. So I like TCU to get a couple turnovers and cover this 4.
Yeah, I mean, this is the matchup really that no one's talking about. I know the Big 12 doesn't get a ton of love, unless Oklahoma or Texas are right there at the top. And with Oklahoma doing what they've done, obviously, they've fallen off the wagon a little bit. But this is the matchup no one's talking about. And I really want to like Oklahoma State. I like the way that they play ball. And Spencer Sanders has gotten better year to year. I know he does turn the ball over a lot here, but what he's doing more is actually with his feet. That people aren't talking about here. But I don't love -4. I'm looking here on another site, and they're 3.5. Still don't love it, but I think I would lean toward the Horned Frog side. This is probably the biggest game TCU's had in
10 years?
At least. I mean, they haven't really been.
Oh, wait, right?
Know,
Was when
New
we were
Year.
last good?
Well, 08 would be longer than 10 years ago, but yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, I mean, the Andy Dalton years, that was, probably around 7 or 8 when they were making Fiesta Bowls and stuff like that. But they've had some other good teams, more recent than that, but not more recent than today. So yeah, it's a tough one. But it's a big game. I lean towards TCU. This may just be a money line play in that spot. This is going to be a drag. This is going to be a drag out game. I don't love that total. That total seems high to me, but I know that these two teams can definitely get up and down the field if they have to play that style of game. I don't think they want to play that style of game, but if they have to, they can.
Fair enough. This one's a primetime game, Pac-12 after dark again, at least for us. For you guys, too, but more so for us. It's number 7 USC, number 40, number 20 Utah. Utah's 3.5-point favorites, huh? And the total's at 65. Vegas and media, I guess, are not buying the Trojans here because this is another spread that smells like fish. Utah just lost to UCLA, who we all you would think was not as good as USC, and USC has not batted an eye. Even last week, they showed they could just ground and pound, even with Caleb Williams being okay. So I say, hammer the Utes. No way the Trojans go undefeated. This is another week I'm going to go with that line.
Well, this one's in my AM Drive 5 as well. But yeah, USC's a tough team. I'm actually surprised you're hammering the Utes in this spot here. You were so right the way they kind of fell apart. A very bad showing at UCLA. UCLA's 5-0 this year. Shout out to Chip Kelly. They get a nice week off here, but I'm surprised. I'm surprised you took that stance on this one, but this one's going to be a good game. I think no matter what happens out of this, the thing we have to take away from USC is actually not on the offensive side of the ball. The USC defense is leading the nation in sacks.
Wow.
Is that something you thought that we would be talking about with USC, the program this year? The defense is really what it's where I look to see the most improvement, and maybe it's kind of one of the reasons I made this pick. So we'll see. Have to check that one out later.
You did get screwed last week because you said that Utah you said one of these games was going to be a really good game, and I think last week you picked Utah and they ended up losing. So,
I picked a lot of things and they ended up losing. I went 1-4 last week,
so did I.
And all the games I was the most confident on have big old X's by them. So.
All right, when we come back, it's officially Friday. We're going to pick the biggest NFL games, the best NFL games. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. We'll be right back. The AM Drive with Mike and Aaron might be the best morning show ever. If you love the show, shop the merchandise for $26 hoodies, $16 shirts, even $13 mugs. High quality swag for cheap because Mike and Aaron love the fans. The best morning show, the lowest price merch at amdrive.online.
This is Popple, the next generation business card. With just a tap, your Popple instantly shares your digital business card to both iPhone and Android devices. The best part? The other person doesn't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. To pop your info, tap your Popple to the top of an iPhone, the center of an Android, or just scan your in-app QR code. And just like that, all your info is saved to their phone. More connections, more leads, more sales. That's Popple. Download our free app and get your Popple today.
Aren't you the Vice Golf guy?
Yeah. You want an autograph?
Yeah. Actually, I was just wondering if the balls are any good.
The balls are amazing. You look like a Pro Plus guy.
I thought you'd never ask. It's actually better than my old ball.
And it's half the price.
Top performing golf ball, half the price. It's almost stealing.
Quit searching the globe and get your high-performing golf balls at vicegolf.com.
Fanatics.com,
the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
All right, welcome back here to the AM Drive on this Friday Football Frenzy, and we are presented by Fanatics. Friday Football Frenzy presented by Fanatics. That's a lot of alliteration all in one sentence. It's very simple. The first thing you do, MikeandAaronDrive.com, you click it. And the second thing you do is you click that F, which is looks like this. You click it. You go into the Fanatics. You buy everything that your heart's content with all your favorite merchandise, memorabilia, and apparel from your favorite teams, players, and leagues. MLB, postseason merchandise, and all those championship T-shirts are going to be coming up real soon. The NHL and the NBA are getting ready to start. NHL started, NBA coming along shortly. Get your merch for that. And, of course, the NFL is king, so you can always get your merchandise 24/7 through Fanatics, but not unless you go to MikeandAaronDrive.com first. You click that, and then you click that, and that we thank you.
1 o'clock, of course, all times Eastern again. Oh, I also bought 2 hats. I got an MLB all over hat where it's got all the 30 logos.
Nice.
And I've got the Miami Heat red hat.
Interesting. Fair enough.
I do love the MLB hat. That looks cool. All right, Ravens Giants. Ravens favored by 5.5. The total's at 45. And all week long, I have been on this train. Giants do one thing very well besides run with Saquon. Okay, I guess they do 2 things well. They run the ball with Saquon Barkley, and their defense is not great, but it swarms to the ball. Brian Dable and that team, they find a way to just meet the ball. I don't understand how some teams do it, and the Colts cannot do it. So I'm going to go with the plus 7.5. I think Ravens going to win, but I think Justin Tucker plays hero ball once again. And don't be surprised if Giants do squeak out a victory, but I think it's going to be close.
I think the Ravens take full advantage of loving the fact that the Meadowlands is not in Baltimore because they're 1-2 inside their own confines, and they're 2-0 on the road, including 2-0 against the spread. I think this is a close game, but I think the Ravens do get something around a 6 to 8 point victory. It's not something I love, but I do think the Ravens will get the win. And I mean, you look at this spot here, the Giants coming back from London. What we did notice last week with Minnesota and New Orleans, despite the fact they both won, the fatigue factor matters. Now, it's not as bad for an East Coast team. I know they get 1 extra hour, but I do think that that's going to matter in this spot. And you can say it's a de facto short week because they played on Sunday night. The Ravens, I don't buy that as much as I buy the Giants having a little bit of London jet lag, so to speak. And I think it was bad. I was, right as I was saying that, I was debating. I was like, I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't do it.
Do it anyways.
And
it's
then
in your
I did
soul, it's in your blood, it's in your veins.
Yes. It was bloody awful. It was bloody awful.
There you go.
But yeah, I think no official play in this one, but I think I take Baltimore minus 5.5, and it really kind of goes against my road favorites spot here. But I think it's just low enough that I think it's a 6 to 8 point victory.
So at least we both think it's close, but you're going with just the 6. Okay, I dig that. I can get on board with that. 1 o'clock Eastern, Jets Packers. Speaking of flying and speaking of London, so I heard an interesting stat. I believe it's from Erin Kate Dolan of SportsCenter / ESPN or whatever. She said that I believe it's Matt LaFleur is 7-0 against the spread after a loss. I was already on the Packers minus 7.5. I'm more so on it. I know what you're going to say. Well, they just came back from London. I know, but Packers are pissed that they blew that game. Packers are going to win this game by about 10 points.
Yeah, this one was tough for me. I don't want to be backing either team in this spot. I know the Jets are 3-2, which is insane. And I know a lot of the action is on them +7. And you're right. I don't want to be back in a team that just came back from London. Although it feels like that situation feels different for the Packers. I don't disagree with that. They're not super great at home that much anymore. So, I mean, can the Jets walk in there? I mean, Zach Wilson's what, 2-0 as a starter right now? So, is he 2-0? I think he's 2-0.
Yeah, no.
I kind of like the Jets in this one, especially with that hook. Do I think they're going to win the game? Not necessarily, but you're right. This does feel like a game where, like, coming off the loss, there was some chatter in the locker room. If Aaron Rodgers is going to take control of this locker room, this is the week he needs to do it. He needs to walk out there and go beat a team by 17 points. And the Jets are just bad enough to let them do that to him.
I think Packers teaser might work here if you're not very confident.
I've already made that. I've already made a teaser bet that does include the Packers.
Nice. Jaguars Colts in Indianapolis. The Colts, my Colts, our Colts, you get it, are 2-point are 2-point favorites. The total is at 42. I am on this game. I am drive 5, but just know the Colts win, and I'll leave it at that.
This teaser out to you that I played. None of it's officially in my AM Drive 5, so you don't have to worry about that. But it was a 7-point teaser, and it takes the Steelers up to 16.5.
Yes!
It takes Green Bay down to just a win, basically a pick 'em, and Carolina up to 17. So
love it.
All right, where are we at here? Jaguars Colts. This one almost made my AM Drive 5. I went with a player prop instead.
Okay.
For my AM Drive 5. But this feels, I mean, if there's a revenge game for Indianapolis, it's the culmination of all of this. Not only did the last time we saw Indianapolis, yes, they won, but they were absolutely atrocious on offensive side of the ball. Is Jonathan Taylor going to play? What do we have as far as updated for them? Do we have any updates?
They don't know.
Okay, so he didn't practice.
We don't.
He didn't practice Wednesday. I know that. I don't know what happened yesterday. Not only that, the Jaguars, last time you saw them, they were smacking you around on their home field, 24-0. You didn't put up a point on the board. This feels like the ultimate revenge spot, culmination for the Colts. If I'm on any part of this, it's got to be the Colts. I'm getting less than a field goal, or I'm having to give up less than a field goal here. It does feel like the Colts are the play in this spot. I mean, the Jaguars couldn't be lower right now. I mean, they've literally, blown the game against Philly, and then they looked like the worst team in the league against Houston last week.
Yep, that's a good point. That's a good point. But it's my aim drive 5. But I do think Colts win.
Okay, fair enough.
Patriots Browns squad. I'm sorry, this sounds awful.
Brown squad, that does not sound great, yeah.
Bailey Zappi is playing once again. Patriots are 2.5-point road favorites. Totals at 43. I love the under. I love the Patriots by a field goal here. Maybe they win by 6, but I'm just going to go with a field goal win. It's not my aim drive 5, but I like them both. I think under would be a better play, actually.
I think Cleveland's favored in this game. You want to check your numbers again. I actually kind of like Cleveland in this game. How do you feel about Bailey Zappi? Like, how do you feel about him in one start so far, basically?
I think he's smart. Like I said out of college, he's a smart player. He has not lost them games, obviously.
Right.
I like him. I said, remember, I was on that train. I was on the train. It's not a replace Mac Jones train, but hey.
Well, that's the reason I ask is because, there's a lot of rumors going around now that he's ready to, they're ready to replace Mac Jones. I don't know if I necessarily believe that quite at this point, but the fact of the matter is, has Mac Jones really done anything to say, no matter what Bailey Zapp does, this is my team when I'm healthy?
Mac Jones started running the ball this year, and I did not expect that.
Okay, fair.
That's the one thing I've seen, but it's better. I don't think Bailey Zappi runs at all.
The question is, can New England run in this game? And Damian Harris looks like he's going to be out, so it's Ramondre Stevenson's show. This game, I don't think it's going to be close. I think Cleveland might win this game by 10 points.
Disagree.
Well, when I say close, in the NFL, I think a 10-point victory is relatively large. I really do.
Tell this, has Jacoby Brissett, has he proven to you that he's a different quarterback since he left New England? I say no.
That's so tough. I mean, like, look, they got into a shootout with the Chargers last week. I kind of expected that. I thought Cleveland might win that game. Chubb. It wasn't all Nick Chubb. I mean, I think that, the fact of the matter is I think that Jacoby Brissett can play with a team. Is he better than he was in New England? I don't think he's – it's so hard to say. There's such a small sample size. I mean, this is the first year he's really gotten a lot of play outside of Indianapolis, and that was a tough year. I don't know. That's I don't want to say it's a throwaway year, but that was definitely a write-off year for them.
We know.
I don't know. I think Cleveland can get this game by a touchdown or greater.
Fair point. I might want
to. And you're right.
On that
and it might have to be all Nick Chubb. I mean, and that's fine. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, if they're the ones that run this game, I'm fine with it. I mean, Cleveland wants to play the old run the ball, play good defense. So it's just sometimes that doesn't always work when the Chargers put up 30 points on you.
Yeah. Buccaneers Steelers. It's funny. Did you see my point shaver video for Pick'em before you made that teaser bet? Or have you seen it at all?
I have not, no.
So I doubled down on the 49ers and covering 5.5 against the Falcons, which we're going to get to shortly. I also I just gave him an aim drive 5 pick with who you saw it on Twitter already. Anyways, I also shaved the Steelers from 7-point dogs, which I got them at, to 14. That was one of my picks. Surprised you said that. I think
7 points though. You got it way too early.
Well, yeah, that's what Pick'em does. They get like the opening lines, or gotcha. One of the opening lines.
Gotcha. This game is also in my AM Drive 5. So, I mean, I guess the real basic preview on this one is going into Pittsburgh, buying low on Pittsburgh. Are you selling high on Tampa Bay? I mean, what do we make of that Atlanta game? I mean, yes, Tampa Bay walked out with a win. Yes, they were up 21. Yes, they needed a really weird roughing the passer penalty to hold on to their win. Now, if they had to go back on defense, would it have mattered? I don't know. I mean, all the momentum was definitely swinging towards Atlanta at that point. So, I don't know. It's a tough one for me here. And let's just say Kenny Pickett might cook a little bit more with his feet this week.
That'd be nice. My buddy Chris, of course, who used to do the MCX podcast, that was my first podcast. And we actually talked about how Steelers might upset the Buccaneers because the NFL is just having these random upsets. This might be a week. I'm just saying.
I don't see an upset in the works here, but I mean, Tampa Bay has a potential to be upset. I mean, they've
just no Steelers defense was not as bad as they looked last week.
A lot of their entire defensive secondary is all in the injury report, so we'll see what happens.
Great. Thank you. All right, let's get to our other games in the 1 o'clock segment here. I didn't make graphics for these, but Bengals Saints. Bengals 1.5 point favorites. Totals at 43. I got Bengals covering. It's Joe Burrow's return and Jamar Chase's return to the Superdome or whatever that thing's called. That new stadium's called.
It's not new, and it's still called the Superdome.
I thought it was new.
No, the Mercedes-Benz Superdome's been around forever.
Whatever.
I
got Bengals covering.
It all depends for me. It really depends on the who plays quarterback for the freaking Saints.
Christ,
it does.
I think Bengals win either way.
They should. They absolutely should. But yeah, I don't really have a dog in this fight. Or a tiger.
or an Uber driver. Vikings Dolphins. Tua's out. So is our boy Teddy. Poor Teddy. And Skylar Thompson's going to start again. Ugh, I'm sorry. Ugh, ugh. Vikings are favored by 3. Totals at 45.5. I don't care. So just give me under 45.5. Vikings get it by themselves. So they have 30 by themselves, and Dolphins score like 7.
I mean, doesn't this look like a shady line?
Yeah. That's why I went with the total.
Minnesota's 4-1, but they're the only team to start 4-1 that has been sub 500 against the spread in modern. And I mean, since games have been had point spreads attached to them.
Wow.
4-1 straight up, 1-4 ATS. The one game they've actually played on the road, if you don't count London, they got the doors beat off them by Philadelphia. Now, is Miami Philadelphia with Skylar Thompson? No. But Miami is a little bit more of a warmer environment. Maybe that matters right now. I don't know. Something just seems fishy about this line. Also, Teddy Bridgewater has not officially been ruled out.
Oh.
He has actually officially been ruled
questionable.
He'll be backing up. If he suits up, he'll be backing up. Skylar Thompson has been named the starter. I have an AM Drive 5 pick attached to Skylar Thompson. So all that being said, as far as the actual play here, I still think you're right. The Vikings should win this game, no problem. But the NFL is stupid sometimes.
Dolphins money line, I hear you. 49ers Falcons. I already told you guys, it's already in a Twitter video. Give me that 49ers minus 5.5. Double down.
Doubling down on this one. This one is interesting to me because it's the classic West Coast team goes east and plays the 1 o'clock Eastern time starts. However, they didn't go back home. They stayed on the East Coast this time.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I think you're right with San Francisco. San Francisco should walk in there and beat the brakes off them.
Also, the Falcons have not been in any game until the fourth quarter this year. So, there you go.
But, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they're 5-0 against the spread.
Yep, it's really nasty and disgusting. I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot to.
Only team 5-0 against the spread.
Gross. Panthers, Ram squad. Interim coach Steve Wilks makes his debut. He was like the special teams defensive coordinator's assistant or whatever the crap his name was. Rams are 10-point favorites. This game starts the afternoon slate. Totals at 41.5. I'm going to the moon. We're going over 41.5 in this game. I was reading some quotes from the Steve Wilks fellow. Sounds like he's a band member of some rock group. I don't know why. But Steve Wilks said, well, we're going to be more aggressive. We're not going to let the defense play to us. That's my British rock star guy. But no, I do think this game will be higher scoring. Rams are due for an offensive game, man. You can't just feed Cooper Kupp 15 screen passes and hope it clicks. Come on, man. Written it over.
Well, on the flip side is that's what might be what Panthers do here by just feeding Christian McCaffrey 15 screen passes.
Yep.
We're gonna get PJ Walker. The funny thing is
wow,
we're getting the third string quarterback now. Just have an open mind with this, and I don't know your feelings on Baker Mayfield. We're getting a third string quarterback, an XFL MVP, and PJ Walker.
I love how you call him an MVP because he didn't technically win it, but he should have. There you go.
But doesn't he feel like an upgrade to Baker Mayfield? Just sheerly on the fact that Baker Mayfield has had one of the most historically worst QBRs of all time.
See, what's crazy is that Matt Rule loved PJ Walker, but he could never find a way to get PJ Walker to look as good as he did with the Roughnecks. Houston Roughnecks, by the way. I do believe
he also coached him at Temple, too.
I think PJ is going to play well. I do. Because if this guy practices what he preaches in Steve Wilks, I believe he's going to coach an aggressive, air it out, make sure Chris McCaffrey gets his. DJ Moore's still on the roster, by the way. I don't know if Baker Mayfield knew that or not.
I don't know if Matt Rule knew that either. Jeez.
Laviska Shenault's on the roster. He's a little gadget guy they did not use after trading for. Jesus Christ, I'm playing Panthers money line. Now that you mention it.
I took the Panthers plus 10, and actually this fell just out of my AM Drive 5 because all week it was like 11 and 10.5, and I kind of liked Carolina in that spot. I don't really love it as much as 10. That's why it fell out, but I do think, I mean, the question really is we're not even talking about the Rams here. I mean, the Rams are not good either. They're Cooper Kupp, and that's it. They can't run the ball.
Hungover.
They can't run the ball, and I'm really, a lot of it playing, if I still continue to make a bet, which I ended up, like I said, Carolina got in that teaser with me. A lot of it's the trend of the playing the interim coach here. The game after the old regime gets fired. That's
another thing I was going to say. Is
get a little pep in your step.
Yep, like Nebraska. Come on.
Yeah, so that's usually a play I make. It unfortunately, like I said, didn't make my AM Drive 5, but it might be a play I'm actually putting money on. And if it gets back up to 10.5, that'd be even better for me.
I do like it's almost like last week. Who did the Panthers play when they lost?
Oh shit. San Francisco.
Okay, so can you imagine it's like, okay guys, let's read the reports. Yo, he's fired. Let's go! And they come out the next week and go crazy on the Rams.
For as much as, and I don't need to talk much more about this, but like for as much as Matt Rule was on the hot seat, I didn't hear any player. Now, it's only been a few days, but I haven't heard a bad thing of said about Matt Rule from anyone in that organization.
It's almost like he wasn't
to be fair to Matt Rule.
I don't understand. Again, I think the expectations were too high. Maybe they bought in too much.
I do too.
Which you told me, and
I do.
I'm just saying.
I really have to wonder in today's day and age if a college coach will ever be successful in the NFL again.
Even Nick Saban was not immune.
Yeah, and that was 15 years
Pete
ago.
Carroll was the recent one, right?
Yeah. I mean, Pete Carroll's probably the most recent coach that had
Kelly
success,
got
and he's still freaking there.
Games, and that was it.
He had a good season with Philadelphia. Yeah, it just hasn't. It doesn't. It generally ends in flames.
Oh. Next game, Cardinals Seahawks. I've got Cardinals. I actually think Kyler Murray is going to have a field day. I know they don't have Hopkins back just yet, and I know James Conner's got rib problems. And he's always banged up somehow. But you thought cancer was the issue. Psych, I'm always hurt. So that's a bad joke. But I think Cardinals win this game by about 10 points. I know it's a division game, but I still think Cardinals going to win.
I don't. Oh. I think Seattle wins this game.
Oh.
I know that the Cardinals are 2-0 straight up and against the road. I just feel like this is a Geno Smith coming out party. And
you know what?
While it's probably a 7 out of 10 that Arizona does win this game if you ran the simulations, something just feels like Geno might get a dub here at home.
I was thinking about that because Kenneth Walker, by the way, is not a downgrade from he's pretty good compared to Rashad Penny.
I feel so bad for Rashad Penny. He was finally getting out of his own way with injuries.
Again.
I loved watching that guy at San Diego State.
He's gone off for a couple of games and got hurt last year.
I know. He's Mr. Glass. And like I said, watching him at San Diego State, he was awesome. I love to watch him run. Yep. It sucks so bad. It sucks so bad when you see these guys like that, where it's like, the talent's there. He just can't stay healthy.
Anthony Davis. Okay. 425 game of the week by far, bar none, college or pro. It's the rematch. I don't know how in the God forbid where this game got pushed to afternoon compared to Cowboys-Eagles, which before the season started, nobody knew this was going to be a good game, okay? So we all knew Bills Chiefs would be. So I don't know what the crowd is doing in the 420 side slot. Anyways, I've got over 54. I think Patrick Mahomes and company. I think Mahomes is on a mission this year to prove that I'm still that dude. And he's proving it every single week. 17-0. We've seen this in the playoffs before, pal. I mean, it's unbelievable. Raiders had him dead to rights. Mahomes said he didn't give a crap. I also think Mecole Hardman will finally have his breakout game. They've been trying to get him going. And you remember Tyreek Hill had a big game against the Bills. I think Bills fans better watch what they wish for this week. But I do think it goes over, just in case I'm wrong.
Yeah, this one's tough one. I'm the type of person now that doesn't really watch a football game without having a bet on it.
You told me, yeah, it's horrible.
Well, whether it is or it isn't, that's just the way that's the way I've grown up.
Right.
But although I will say this, I did watch Thursday Night Football that game, and I didn't have a wager on it, so maybe I'm getting soft in my old age. I don't know. But normally I don't. You're correct. I mean, it's just the way it's been for me. I don't know if I'll have a bet, and I'll definitely be watching this game. If I had a lean, like I want to say this is another ultimate revenge spot here for Buffalo. Obviously, we know how much that loss hurt. 13 seconds left on the clock, and they give up the game-tying field goal from 80 yards away on the start of that drive. It's insane. But you're right. I mean, Mahomes, I've said it before. Mahomes is that dude. I don't know why anybody ever even sniffed another, sniffed another butt.
Ass? Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, sniffed another butt at that point. Like, Josh Allen is incredible. He has a lot of talent. He probably has significantly close talent to Patrick Mahomes, but he hasn't done it yet.
He's not consistent yet.
I'm not handing over the crown until the crown's ready to be handed over. I probably would lean. If this game can get up to 3, I'd lean Kansas City. The over would be a fun play. I kind of want to just take the under, just because everybody and their mother is probably on the over in this game.
The problem is the Chiefs' defense guards the run well, and Bills don't want to run anyways. So, like, Chiefs are just going to be lit up in the passing game anyways.
I am curious about, I want to check something here real quick.
I think Stephon Diggs goes off, too.
I want to say Gabe Davis's, Gabe Davis's receiving yards.
He ripped one out of the air from Minka Fitzpatrick, but I'm telling you, I think the Bills peaked too early this year. Well,
it's a little too low for me, 55.5. I don't necessarily love that. What about Josh Allen rushing yards? Let's see.
I just think the Bills took out their emotions on the Rams, took out their emotions. Like, Josh Allen cried on the shoulder of Tua, okay? And then they took out their emotions on the Steelers last week. This game could be, I'm telling you, Chiefs are going to win. I'm just telling you.
I think the Chiefs, I don't know. I mean,
can I do it?
You can do it if you want.
I feel good, man. I really do, but I'm not going to do it because they've screwed me twice.
You went from having a bet on the over to wanting to make a shaving cream bet on Kansas City.
I'm insane. Telling you. Mahomes,
go ahead, make the bet.
Dude, man.
Make the bet.
Doing it.
Plus 2.5?
This is for future reference.
Because they're going to see that on Monday or Tuesday or whatever.
That's me till the end of the show. Yeah.
I think when you make that bet, you should do a shaving cream pie on Action Monday and let Sammy see one of your shaving cream to the
fair.
face.
This was going to be a fun one. I'm telling you, I am not losing. Aaron, I've seen history repeat itself too many times, and this is a great quarterback matchup, but one quarterback's better. Sorry.
I agree. It will be a fun game to watch, but you're right. One quarterback is better. And right now it feels like the Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes. Brady had Mahomes' number. Mahomes seems to have Allen's number. So you have to eventually buck that trend. We'll see. Don't forget, guys, Sunday Night Football is only available on AM Drive TV Spaces tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Mike will be there along with you to break down that Cowboys versus Eagles game. I won't be there today.
Boo! Again!
I won't be there on Spaces. No, but Mike will be. And he hopes to – I will be playing golf today. He hopes to see you there as well. So make sure you check it out on Twitter at AM Drive TV tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. All right, you ready to get into it?
I'm going to watch anyways. Bigamores.com/podcast under the AM Drive 5, our best weekend football bets. Aaron, go ahead.
You're like a bad Regis Philbin. Do you remember Regis Philbin?
Regis and Kelly, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That's what you remember him from? That's funny.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we went back to the college well. We got 3 picks. We're going faves in in college football here this week. It's funny you mentioned two of them because two of them are we talked about in the show here this morning. My first one, I'm taking BYU -1 over Arkansas. I know Arkansas gets KJ Jefferson back, but I think BYU ultimately wins a high-scoring shootout game because neither team can stop anybody. Bama, I'm taking Bama -7 over Tennessee. I believe Bryce Young will play. I believe that gives them a jolt. I believe that Bama is still Tennessee's daddy, despite the fact that I know that they're all excited about Hendon Hooker. And I believe that, like I said, Tennessee's season's not over if they lose this game. This one, it's funny that you had mentioned it. I'm on Utah -3.5 as well over USC this week. I'm going back to the Utah well with the 3.5. I'm an idiot. I'm a glutton for punishment.
Yes.
And that's just the way it works, I guess. In the NFL, I'm taking Pittsburgh +8.5 over Tampa Bay. I wish this game, or I wish this show was 2 days earlier but now I'm stuck with 8.5. I'll take it either way. Pittsburgh gets a gutty 3-point loss. And then my fifth and final bet of the AM Drive 5 tied to Mr. Skylar Thompson, and I'm taking the under on his 214.5 passing yards.
Woo, that's gross. I took the over on Carson Wentz last night, just for the record.
Did you really? What was it, 98?
No, it was like 240 or something like that.
Wow.
That's really bad.
It sucks when you have a bet that you're just never even, you're either not winning or you're not even sweating it.
Right. My top 5. My AM Drive, that's for Tuesday. My AM Drive 5 for Friday's show, obviously. It already had Commanders at Pick'em, but I ended up going Commanders -1 via at AM Drive Picks, and that did get a green check mark emoji by it. Now, my other 4 games remaining are going to be 2 college and 2 pro, or 2 more pro. Old Dominion! Aaron, what's their mascot? Just asking. I already know.
The Monarchs.
Where
Their mascot's a lion, but Old Dominion's in Virginia.
I'm proud of you. Coastal Carolina. So, fun fact, this game, in 2012, it was 63-35. Old Dominion beat Coastal Carolina on the road.
2012.
I'm just saying, that was the only time they played each other. So I've got over 56 in honor of a 10-year anniversary here. And also, Coastal Carolina allowed 30 against Georgia Southern.
I do kind of like them plus, I think they're plus 11 or 12 in that game too. So I do kind of like that.
Speaking
Put some shaving cream on it?
Huh?
Put some shaving cream on it?
No, that's for the other cheek. Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
Georgia Southern, 12 Sports founder Jeff Beck wanted me to go to this game. I probably won't. But it's in Statesboro, Georgia. I've got Georgia Southern plus 12 against number 25, James Madison. Are you kidding me? Shout out!
Are they really ranked?
Yes, they're in the AP and the coaches, I believe.
Heck yeah, go James Madison. Nice.
Well, they're going to run into Georgia Southern. And Clay Helton, I don't put much stock into the Nebraska game, even though they were 23.5-point underdogs, and I picked the Eagles to win. But I put a lot of stock in their last 2 games on the road. They barely lost to Coastal Carolina and Georgia State, who to me looked better than them, but they kept it close. So I'm going to go with plus 12, and they might beat James Madison. Sorry, James Madison. Jaguars Colts over 42. Listen, okay, this sounds hideous. It sounds stupid. It sounds like, Mike, what are you doing? Just pick the -2? No. I think Colts are saving up something in the well. Something in the well. And I think they're going to score like 24 to like 21, and we hit the over. I'm going to sweat it. I'm going to go over. Also, 49ers cover that 5.5. It's my double down on pick'emboards.com/podcast. Take us home.
All right. I like some of those bets too. I'm shout out James Madison for being freaking number 25. I love that. I don't even know what conference they're in. Nah, well, maybe. We'll put some shaving cream on the other side for that one.
No. I'll do plus 12, but not for the money line. No.
All right, that's going to do it for us here. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy all the football that gets thrown right in your face this weekend, Saturday and Sunday and Monday. And speaking of Monday, Mike will return with Sammy for Action Monday, reaction to the biggest NFL stories, scores, and news. And, of course, Monday Night Football, Broncos and Chargers. Good luck, everybody, on your bets. And as always,
drive safe.